You're live on the air. What's your name, comment, and/or question?
Hey Ben, it's PJ. Haven't spoken to you in a while.
Man, it's been a long time, PJ. What's happening, dude?
I just wanted to touch real quick before you guys got into further news and stuff. Since we're talking about Hillary and electability, that was sort of touched on. I saw this article on my feed, and I want to share it with you. I already sent it to you on Twitter. It talks about how unless the title is, in fact, unless the Democrats run Sanders, a Trump nomination means a Trump presidency. And it's a lengthy topic, a lengthy article, and I also posted on the YouTube chat. And it talks about essentially how Hillary won't be able to win a popular cult of personality contest with Trump.
Not at all.
Because she has so many things to attack her on, and Trump, even when he gets attacked directly, he always diffuses it. He's a reality TV star. He knows how to keep negative attention off of him, and also how to keep positive attention on everyone else, on all of his opponents.
Right.
So, I mean, and there's, of course, Hillary voters won't be swayed on it, but there are obviously a lot more people than Trump voters and Hillary voters in this election. That's, people on the fence, people who don't know, people who are ignorant, like this is their first presidential election, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So I think this is, at the very least, it's worth the people looking at. I hope you look at it soon and maybe retweet it, because I noticed a lot of people go for the people that they perceive as the winners.
Right.
Like, oh, well, it's obvious that blank is going to win, so I'm going to vote for them, because they want to be on the winning team for whatever reason.
Right.
I personally disagree, but whatever. But if it comes down to the point where the two most popular people, which are currently Hillary and Trump, if that ends up being the matchup, then Trump is almost certainly going to win. So if we want to look at this from a pragmatic view, we have to realize that Bernie Sanders will not be anywhere near as vulnerable towards Trump's attacks,
right,
lies, slights, and so forth, because he has almost nothing on him. He's had 50 years of fighting for,
everything that he stands
minorities, the lower class, middle class, civil rights, and all of that.
Yep.
He's been he's an almost too good to be true ideal politician, in the sense of that he cares for the people. So I just wanted to point that article out to you and to others who might be interested in it. Just share it with others. I don't know who wrote it or anything. It's on the site Current Affairs, but
yeah,
it's very good to look at if you really think that Hillary can win on her own against Trump. That's really all I just want to push.
Hey, appreciate the call. I actually did see the article, and another article, well, not even an article, just news in general, is indicative of everything that we're saying here, right? Everything we're saying tonight is the establishment is missing what's happening underneath them. They're laughing at the idea of revolution and don't realize that the revolution has already occurred, and people are not jumping on board for Hillary Clinton, especially in a matchup up against Donald Trump. And to that end, you have Harry Reid. Harry Reid has come out and announced today that he is endorsing Hillary Clinton. And this is no surprise, right? I think everybody knows that Harry Reid was eventually going to, the entire Democratic establishment, people in key positions, they are all going to go for Hillary Clinton. They're all going to fall on the sword for Hillary Clinton. And they, in my opinion, and according to a lot of other people who are just as smart, if not smarter than me, they're going to make the entire party fall on its sword, because they are trying to push Hillary Clinton, and the general population is really like, meh, at best. And then the rest of them are like, she's a crook or she's untrustworthy. And, so she's really has so much baggage coming into this whole conversation. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think that the fact, and I was getting into, I responded to something Chris Hayes just tweeted out, where he essentially said, where he was responding to someone on his show tonight in Twitter saying Jeff Weaver owned you, and he was trying to push Jeff Weaver on the narrative that Bernie's on the back foot, and he's going to lose. He said that he made a good point about Hillary Clinton's favorability ratings, but that the fact that Bernie is more favorable both against her and against Republicans is fantastical and wouldn't hold up in a general election, and just asserted it.
Right. Like, it's a statement of fact that's going contrary to what the polling is actually saying.
I responded. I said, I'm waiting for the answer as to why that is fanciful. It's actually increased among Dems and independents throughout this race. And does he really think that just red baiting, just red baiting, they're just going to call him a socialist and that's going to be the end of it? Like,
they've already played that hand. Like and no one is afraid of being called a socialist anymore, right? They overplayed that hand with Barack Obama. So what are they gonna? They're not gonna scare us with that. If anything, it's going to make everyone realize, oh, this is all the Republicans really have, is to call someone a socialist, right? So I think we're good on that. And speaking of the polling, like they are completely ignoring the fact now that there's a new Reuters poll that says that Sanders has widened his lead 6 points over Hillary Clinton amongst Democratic voters across the entire United States, right? You already mentioned that, Solomon. So contrary to what the data actually says, they are still pushing this narrative that Bernie Sanders is, one, not electable in a general election, and then two, that Hillary Clinton is inevitable. Noah, I want you to jump in there really quickly and just from I don't even know what angle to even address this from anymore, because it's just been going on so long that they've bought into this narrative so much that they can't even walk back from the edge, and they're getting ready to take the entire party over the edge with them.
Well, I think we're also having an issue with this whole, like, who's a real Democrat, I'm a real Democrat, you're not a real Democrat thing. You know, like, anybody can vote. They can go and declare their party, or if you're in a closed primary state, if you're open primary state, you can just, it's free to be you and me. Everybody can vote the way they want to. What is being disregarded, and I think Solomon kind of touched on this a little bit, is that Bernie does better not only with, you know, independent voters who are a significant, people identifying as independents are a significant portion of our electorate right now, and we cannot disregard that. People, whether just because we have two major parties, people can still identify as, you know, some other alternate third affiliation and still have the right to vote as a Republican or a Democrat in an election. So you still have to think about courting those voters as well. I mean, because honestly, that's the only way you're going to beat the GOP, is to actively court independent voters, as well as if you could peel some people off, some of the moderate Republicans. I don't know if that's an oxymoron or not, but, you know, you can peel off some people. And Bernie is able to do all of that because he has aspects of his platform, of his policy, the way he does stuff, that appeals to people across a general board. I know there, like, you know, people get really upset about his history in terms of gun control, for example, right? But his flexible nature on it, I mean, he's willing to come down and stand where he needs to on the issues, but at the same time recognize that it is a right and that, you know, there are different common sense ways we need to be doing stuff. That appeals to people. You know, the whole, oh my God, you're going to take my guns crew. You know, hey, this guy might not be so bad. Maybe I can listen to more of what he has to say. Because as soon as you start talking about guns, half the country just turns their brain off on you. They're not listening to you anymore. But he is getting people to listen to us. That was one of the things that the Democratic Party has lost. They have lost the quote-unquote the white vote. And he has been able to get white people to be interested in the Democratic side of politics again in a way that, you know, Trump has gotten people energetic on the other side, but he can even peel off some of the Trump people too, the not so really crazy ones. But I just really think that the establishment is vested in its position, because it's not just getting Hillary elected. I really think this election, you know, the entire establishment is on trial, for lack of a better term. Like, you know, Chris Matthews, his wife is running as an establishment candidate in Maryland against a Bernie-style progressive. So every time he goes in on Bernie, that's personal. It is not just him trying to, you know, do his due diligence in journalism. That is absolutely personal. Like, you know, everything. People, I mean, we can't pretend like MSNBC and CNN and Comcast and whoever else do not have a vested interest in Hillary Clinton becoming the next president of the United States. I mean, that's just ludicrous. And anyone to say otherwise, like, oh, you know, no. Our news is not fact-based. It's driven by money and ratings. And that's just...
That's the other thing. So you perfectly dovetailed into this the story about Donald Trump, right? There is a casual